and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's happening? What's going on in your life?
I'm good. I've had like a great morning. I accidentally had a package delivered to my Upper East Side apartment.
The old spot.
Yes. So I came in on the train. I walked up.
I remember what it was like to live in this city.
No,
Did you have that
kinda.
woman moment?
I had like a great time walking. I walked up and then I walked to the office. So it's been like 2-hour walk.
It's a great. I mean,
and I just felt like nice. I felt good. I missed it. I missed it a lot.
It is invigorating, a New York City walk.
Yeah.
I think specifically New York City. I walk here most weeks, half-hour walk from my apartment, which is like the perfect. You know, I don't want to do it two hours. You know,
it's a little excessive. I'll give you that.
But you've been out of the game for a minute.
Yeah.
You're suburban
It didn't
Jordana.
feel like that. It felt like, because here's the thing that I missed the most, and it made me a little like, I guess when I move to my house, I'll be in a neighborhood where I can walk. But now I can't. I don't walk anywhere. So I felt like I had all this like walking energy built up, and I felt I could have kept going.
It is. I mean, you think you're gonna walk, but like, you get to the suburbs, and it's like, let's take the car to the mailbox down down the driveway.
Yeah.
You know, like I do. Like, you know, there's been that. It's been memified a lot that. Oh, I'm from New York. I'll walk 2 blocks, and it ends up being like a 3-day journey.
Right, or you're on the side of a highway.
Right. I mean, Michelle Wolf has always said this when I opened for her, you know, when we did like 100 different dates. She was like, half of being a comedian is walking along a highway. Right. That's all
I showed you when I
Right.
walked in Philly, I was accidentally almost hit by a car. I was walking like one of those, what is the word when you're, the service road.
You got to stay service road. No good for the walk. I've done them all. Because you'll be on the road, no car, and then it's like, do I want to take an Uber that's $5 for 3 minutes, like the embarrassment, or can I walk to the Denny's that's point whatever miles away?
Right.
And you're like, I'll walk to Denny's, and then it's like you risking your life.
Right.
You know, like
just to get a little exercise.
Right. Steven Seagal style. You're like, got 18-wheelers whizzing by you, and you're like, this was a huge, what am I doing?
Right. But then it's too late. You're like
always too late.
You're already almost there.
Right.
So that was really nice. I felt really good. I just I hate to be this person because you sound like an asshole, but I just feel better when I move. I just want to move more.
I thought
no one likes that person.
For a second, I was like, better when you like move houses, like
that too.
That too.
I mean, yeah.
But you're in between things too. You have a house that you're going to.
Right.
Nothing is worse than flux.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's even more in flux now because my house is not, the close date has not been chosen. So I'm moving again on Monday. My favorite thing,
Where are
my
you going?
favorite pastime, walking and moving.
Right.
But stuff's going in storage, and I'm staying with my in-laws for a couple weeks.
Whoa, you are living the sitcom of a relationship.
Yes.
Like, you guys, this is...
It's giving me a little bit of anxiety.
Not a lot
of anxiety.
I'd be shitting my pants. You're going to live with, again, like, they're your in-laws. I'm sure you're very comfy, cozy with them. They are great. I've met them. They are, like, the nicest people in the world. But I don't want to live with anybody.
No, I agree. Well, that's the thing. So I tried to extend the lease on our apartment, but they had already, because I didn't foresee this issue with the close date.
Right.
But they had already rented it. So we were kind of fucked. We got it extended as far as we could, which is Monday.
Right.
And yeah, I'm a little stressed. Again, not that my in-laws are amazing.
I know. Well, it's hard because we're in a public platform and anything could be taken anyway.
But
and
I think they would totally understand. They're very excited for us to come.
I'm sure you again, for older people, for my parents, a little change of pace is nice for them, and for you, it's like, I'd rather be in my own home.
It's the comfort of just being like, oh, I'm just gonna like go to the fridge and take whatever I want, or like be on my call loudly and not be like, what does everyone think? Especially also, for my line of work.
Right. Yeah. The betches need more coming videos. Like
where
what
are they?
Right.
Exactly.
Like, where is the climaxing video?
I don't work for Pornhub.
No, but I know. This isn't Pornhub? Where am I? I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean. It's just like the comfort of being my own space. But the one thing I am excited for is they live very close to the Long Beach boardwalk.
Oh.
And I'm gonna just be by the beach on the boardwalk. So I'm like thinking
scouting out the location to see
to knock down
what to knock down. Yeah.
Yes. And this restaurant that's been here for 60 years is gonna go. And this.
Goodbye, Nona. Bring in an Arby's.
I'll be drawing my plans.
Yes. We painted this picture of CEO Jordana on the phone. More tampon videos. Knock down that mom and pop. Like,
they're going to be picketing.
Yeah, right.
The locals are going to be picketing in my mere existence.
Jordana and just sunglasses, a pantsuit.
Right. Like I'm in Men in Black.
Right. I love it. Wow, this is an exciting portion of your. Sometimes I take up the oxygen in this room. I will admit
today
that.
it's me. I've got a lot of anxiety that I'm ready to just bring into this this small room.
Well, I'm somewhat embarrassed that I have had no idea about any of this until now. Like I'm like, have I not asked you one question about yourself in the past month?
I have 5 kids now.
Right. What happened? What?
No, we've had the special, so there's been a lot going on.
That's been on my mind.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like little tiny things going on.
Yeah.
You know, like
I was hoping this would be resolved before Monday, but it's not looking like it's good. You know what I mean? When you're like kind of in denial, you're like, I'm not gonna like even bring this to the surface because I'm just hoping it kind of takes care of itself, and then I wouldn't have having to I didn't have to get into the whole thing.
Right.
And now it's looking like that's just not happening.
Like there was a moment, I'm sure, where you're like, we'll do an end of the summer party.
Yes.
You thought that.
100%.
100%. And now that is like, what a pipe dream that was.
Yeah,
that was an insane thought at this point, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah, all of it. Or just like, I'll be settled in. I reserve the whole month to just be like getting acquainted.
Putting out my knickknacks. Yeah. My tchotchkes.
It's just, that's not happening for me. But it will be fine.
The fall will be spectacular.
Yes.
You'll be on your big couch watching the game as you do every Sunday.
As Mike does every Sunday, yes.
Right. Wearing your big Jets hat.
I'll be complaining next to Mike watching the game every Sunday soon enough.
You'll be there watching, the Real Housewives of some city. Yeah. Big foam finger, go Ramona.
Exactly. I'm trying to enjoy the summer. I'm trying to just lean into being by the beach for a couple weeks in August. I think it'll be fine.
I mean, Long Beach Boardwalk, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Just to be near a beach, walk set. Talk about a walk, a beach walk, the king of the walks.
Yes, the best walk.
The best walk.
Yes.
So that's good. I'm excited for. I think this is all for fun stories. Like you're going to have. This is fun for me.
Yeah, and you guys get to watch me move again.
Right.
Who doesn't love that? I get 2 moves.
Right, 2
I get
moves.
the move into storage, and then I get the storage move into. I couldn't resist adding one more move.
Give out the promo code now so we can get ahead. Whatever the promo, give it out.
Give it out.
Yeah, we gotta break it.
I'm using piece of cake. IG family is the code for 10% off.
Love it. Piece of cake moving.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Plug City,
Very
baby.
Pink, just like Barbie. Are you? I went to see Barbie
What
on
did you
Friday.
think? So there's been a lot of talk of anti-man from certain political sections of the country. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't seen Barbie. I haven't seen Oppenheimer.
Okay. Do you want to hear a weird story? I'm sorry to take up all the stories for this intro.
I am happy. I love a Jordana week. Go.
Okay. So Sammy, and Eileen decide we're going to go see the Barbie movie on Friday.
The Betches are going together to Barbie.
We all live on Long Island. We're going to see Barbie.
I mean, this is sponsored content. How is this not
unsponsored? Barbie. We're not even working with Barbie in a paid manner, but we were like, it's the movie where we have a pop culture podcast. We're going to go see Barbie.
Absolutely.
And I was excited to see it. The Barbie movie I know has some sort of anti-man backlash. I don't really see it at all. I think it was a great, amazing, fun movie.
I think people see the trendiest topic and find a way to make it serve their political needs. That's the way we work these days.
I loved it. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling was great.
Fun.
Fun, yeah,
fun
definitely
movie.
fun.
I've heard fun, great, yeah.
But the story is not about that. But in that anti-man sentiment. So I just want to hear your take on this story because I think you'll both enjoy it, and I think you'll probably agree with me. So the 3 of us are in the movie. Avi's also wants to come, but he's running a little late. So it's the 3 of us, and then Avi's going to join us.
Sure.
Avi is Sammy's husband, for those of you who don't know.
Okay.
So we're in the theater. There's reserved seats. So there's 2 seats next to Sammy that are open. And then next to it is this guy who's there alone.
Okay.
and he looks a little suspicious. I'll
Okay.
Right.
Suburban Jordana.
Listen,
Here's
it's not,
suburban.
no, it's not me. I haven't, okay.
Move him.
He's there alone seeing the Barbie movie. It's a little weird.
In a movie theater.
And he's not looking at anyone in the eye. He's just looking straight ahead.
Listen, I have been to movies where you see weird guy with backpack, and you're like, there's been too much in the news to not have, and it's
a little bit in the back of your head.
It's sad. It's a sad reality that like it just enters your brain.
Right.
I agree with that.
So but there's a woman on the other side of him who's there with like 5 little girls.
Okay.
Like 10-year-old girls.
Sure.
And I guess she booked seats that were like she couldn't get enough in the one row, so she booked a couple in the other row. But then she asked the guy next to her, because there's an empty seat next to him, if he would mind moving over one seat to an empty seat, so that the kids can sit together.
Right. Okay.
And he says no.
No.
He says no, and he's looking straight ahead, and he says no.
Okay.
So
yeah, now suspicious guy becomes more suspicious guy to me.
And so Sammy's sitting the one like at the end where she's hearing this, and then she's talking to Eileen, and they're like, "This guy is like bad news. We gotta get out of here."
Leaving. This is like seeing someone on the airplane that you don't think looks right, and being like, "Are we not gonna go to Florida?"
Yeah,
oh my God.
They're looking at like the other movie times. They're looking into switching the seat, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is weird, but like maybe he's just like a weird guy, like you know, like a strange.
Listen, there's a
guy.
million weird people.
In their defense, I'm not a panicker, but like in their defense, he looked very suspicious.
This is so. It is like this is hard. This is difficult because this is very 2023. Like and there's like a million angles to think of something like this from. It's like, why do you think he looks suspicious? What's wrong with you? Does he look suspicious? It becomes this like debate, and you're like, I don't want to be the awful person. How could I be this afraid of just living? You know, like
I'm in this space because the two of them are also like kind of riling each other up, and they both get very like anxious about this thing, which I don't blame them. It's like it's a weird time.
This sucks.
But I'm
this
not
sucks.
fully.
You just
like,
want to look at this guy and go, can you just smile at us and not be weird?
Just don't make it weird. Just like show us what's in your bag.
Right. Show us a picture of your kids now.
Right. Yeah. Or like, I don't know, just the fact that he was there alone watching this thing amongst like a bunch of women and girls just felt a little weird. So the two of them find other seats.
Did he look like me? If he looked like me, I won't be insulted.
No,
okay.
No, he had like a bit of a beard. He looked much less social than you.
Okay. Okay.
But he was like a white guy in his late 20s, early 30s, who just like, it just kind of has a weird.
See, I would look at someone like, did he look comic booky? Like who's was there? Again, I don't even want to make you describe it because it sounds awful.
Yeah.
But I go because the more you describe him, the more awful it sounds.
It was like the lack of eye contact. He was just looking straight ahead.
But also, you know, fucking weirdo is the guy that we see. There's a profile that's been built in the last decade or two that you go, dude, can you just turn to us and be like, I just love pop culture.
Right.
I have every Barbie. They're in mint condition. Like, just tell me that I make money off of Barbies. I need to know them. I don't know. Tell me you're videotaping the movie to like put online. Yeah, I don't
whatever
give a fuck.
It is. Or you're just like a lonely. Again, I'm kind of like in the back of my mind, like maybe this is just like a lonely guy. He's socially weird. He just doesn't want to move. And he did buy the seat. This is the seat that he wants. He doesn't feel like he needs to move.
But also, no one checks you at the movie theater. There's no metal detectors. It goes back and forth. I feel for you because it is, and this is why I love doing podcasts. Yeah. Because, you know, this is kind of icky. You know, the whole idea of
either way.
It doesn't matter how you talk about this. Like, and like again, like there's the I'm going to sit on the top of Moral Mountain view of like, oh, look, who are you to judge who's weird and not weird? It's like, that person can go fuck themselves.
No, you can judge. You're allowed to judge a white man in his 30s for being weird. I think. Right. I think that's okay on the internet.
I think that's okay on the internet. Right. I think the internet will allow for that. Yeah. As long as it's that profile.
Most people don't mind. They're like, don't talk about that white man in his 30s.
Yeah, right. You're right. Okay, fine. But okay, good. At least he checks that box if we can fucking ruin him.
It felt okay. And I mean, I don't want. That's the other thing. I didn't want to like ruin him. So the two of them move. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to stay and watch the movie.
So you're like, I'm watching now I'm by myself on a date with this weirdo.
Yes.
Okay. And they left.
They went to like the back of the theater.
To watch him.
Yes. And they're like texting me the whole time. Like, is he doing anything weird? What is he doing? Blah, blah, blah.
He's eating popcorn. like a weirdo. Yeah.
What's going on? But I stayed. I mean, nothing happened. Obviously, I think you would have heard that if that was the case.
I'd be like, "Where's Jordana?" I don't ask her any questions. How would I? Oh, she's moving.
Right. Oh no, well, no, I wouldn't be at that point. But it worked out. It was just an interesting sort of like case study in like what you do in a situation
What did
where
you think?
you feel kind of weird.
Oh my God, I've
Some people
had
are
that.
Like, trust your gut.
I
Trust
know.
your, but that's always what they say when the bad thing happens.
I know.
No one says that. No one ever talks about trusting your gut when everything winds up being fine.
Right. And you don't want to freak out. And, you know, there's just, listen, what did you, I interrupted a lot during that story.
No.
What did you think I would agree with? Just that, like, to stay?
Would you have stayed? I think you would have stayed.
I would have stayed, but I would have had the
Mm.
same emotional battle that all three of you had.
Right.
Because I am an anxious person a little bit. Like, growing up, I was horrible at flying. And if there was turbulence, my dad would be like, ooh, like make fun of me. Like, it's like a roller coaster. Maybe we're going down. Like, he would do that type of shit, which a therapist might be like, what the fuck? But my mom and I would like up each other. So I'd get nervous and then she'd get nervous and then I'd get nervous. So I understand the idea of getting riled up.
Totally.
In that way.
And I was thinking, like, if I had gone to see this movie with Mike, I don't think I would have even noticed this guy.
Right.
I just like wouldn't have paid attention.
Does Mike not notice that type of? Is he whatever about that type of stuff?
I don't think he would. He would never move for that type of situation. I don't think he would be like affected by it. He might think it was weird, but I don't think he would be. And I think that because he wouldn't be affected by it, I wouldn't be affected by it. But because they're like, you know, pointing out the thing, and it's in my head, I'm like, I did in the beginning of the movie feel like, okay, was this? Or no, he would have done something by now, right? Like, I think we're okay now.
Oh, he laughed at Ryan Gosling. Okay, we're good.
Right.
Yeah, you take these weird reasons for why he's not a bad, you know, and again, this guy just wanted to go see a movie and then you feel bad. You know, you're like, oh, we judged the fuck out of that guy. And
yeah, I felt a little bad.
Right. I would have stayed. I also would have felt this, should I go or what should I do? But I never would have left.
Right.
There's no way. But to say no to a woman, hey, can my kids sit together? Like, you're just a dick.
When it's right next to you and it's an open seat, it just seemed like, I don't know, this is not part of his plan.
Right.
Like,
right. What is it about the seat that you need so badly? Yeah, you do have that.
There was just, your mind goes weird places.
I go to the movies on the road. Whenever I'm on the road, I'll get my nails done, go to the movies. Those are like kind of two good activities to like fill up a day.
Yeah, I didn't know you go to the movies.
On the road sometimes, yeah.
Have you seen Barbie?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm like saving it.
Okay.
I always end up saving it because I know I have these like long periods of time where you're alone. You know, like when you're in Raleigh, you know,
yeah.
You know, but Raleigh in the summer is great. You know, summertime it's easier on the road than on the wintertime.
Right.
So I end up saving these things for you know, to like have them in my back pocket. But I do want to see. Movie was good.
I liked it. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I gotta go see it. It's a cultural thing at this point.
It was funny. I thought it was like a funny, cute thing. I wasn't really sure like what age it was for. Because there were like 7-year-old girls in the theater, but then there's like, you know, the three of us.
Right.
And like, I'm not really sure who it's
I kind of assumed it was for nostalgia generation, like for adults.
I think them too. It's kind of like, I guess there's something for everyone. There's like definitely a lot of like adult jokes, but it also kind of seems like maybe it's for kids too.
It's like Toy Story. The jokes work on two different levels type of thing, you hope.
I think so. Yeah.
Well.
But it was fun. It's just fun to like, it's fun for people to be like excited to go to the movies. That was kind of cool to see on, like, when have you seen anyone Instagram from the movies?
It's a bit of a throwback. Right? Yeah, that is, I guess not. I've never seen someone Instagram from the movies because it wouldn't have happened back then. But, you know, the going to the movie, what's your snack choice?
Popcorn?
Just popcorn.
I'm pretty
You're not like you don't.
Oh, well, that was the other thing. So we got a like extra large popcorn for the three of us to share, and then they left. Took the popcorn with them.
Oh, whoa, party foul. That is.
They gave me a little bit. They gave me a little bit before. We got an extra little plastic thing. They gave me a little bit before I left, and then they pieced.
Whoa! No. You're sitting
that
here.
That was the biggest sin of all.
Yeah, no. You're. I don't care if we get fucking murdered. You're sitting right next to me. I'm getting some of this popcorn.
Or you're leaving it here. It gets custody.
Right, with the popcorn. No, you leave. You leave the popcorn.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I should bring that up.
We got these seats. This is the real
but there were like
problem.
3 of them up there. It was just
I don't care. We got these seats. I'm a big popcorn guy. I love popcorn. I love pop. I eat it like an animal.
Really?
I eat it, and then a ring of popcorn is around me.
What kind of popcorn? Like the one in the bag or like the one you put in the microwave?
All popcorn.
Every
and those
kind.
are different to me. Movie theater popcorn, microwave popcorn,
Boom,
bag
chicka,
of
pop.
boom chicka pop. I'm all in on popcorn. Don't like a kettle corn as much as I like a regular buttered popcorn.
Love it.
Movies, can't avoid it. I get a water because I'm healthy.
Okay. Not a Diet Coke?
The Diet Coke thing, I know people are going to be screaming at me. People love a fountain soda. I get it. I'm not as moved by the fountain soda as some people are. Because they never put enough ice in, and I'm a big ice guy,
Right.
famously.
Why don't you just ask extra ice?
I do, but it's just never. And then I got not enough soda.
Well, here's my I do that at Starbucks because they don't put enough ice in there. You know, my favorite little coffee shop.
Mom and pop shop.
Yes.
Your favorite coffee shop that you're bringing to Long Beach.
Here's what
Get
I
the fuck out of here, Latte Nation.
Small boutique coffee shop. I'll kill you. So I get grande iced coffee in a venti cup with extra ice because
Great order.
I'm not willing to give up the amount that I'm spending. I need,
It's a professional order.
Yes.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You need to be acknowledged. Call it the Jordana. Because what happens is I'm a big extra ice guy, but they never, again, like communication a lot of times is like, the muscle memory.
Yeah.
So I say, I want an iced Americano, extra ice, half as much water as you would normally use.
Okay.
That never
yeah.
translates because what a lot of people order is light ice. Because
Why would they go light? Oh,
they want more coffee.
well, that's why
for
you
their
do the
buck.
That's why you do the bigger cup.
Right. So
Yeah.
that the bigger cup gets you in the game. I'm always asking for more ice. I'm a pain in the fucking
I'm
ass.
telling you. I mean, I don't know. I guess you don't go to Starbucks, but
No.
grande iced coffee, venti cup, extra ice. All your problems are solved.
I love the order. Otherwise, we're good. Oversharing. Great episode this week. I listened to the whole thing,
Thank you.
front to
I
back.
don't remember what we talked about, but
You talked about something. It was just I've needed to like get my brain out of my own brain recently, and there was a very good episode that you guys had. It was I'm trying to remember, but it just made it. It's so calming, that show.
oh, thank you.
You and your
Yeah.
sister have this like very good, like it's not my raspy yelling rantings.
It's very soft. She's very soft. She has a therapist voice.
Therapist voice for
Yes.
sure. Yeah, no,
But that's her real voice.
That's
too.
she was built for this.
She was.
Yeah,
Thank you. But I mean, speaking of popcorn and watching shows,
right. The special.
You've got the special. We've got
We've
the special.
got the
We've got
special.
the special coming out in today's
August 15th.
So less than
we're
2 weeks.
less than 2 weeks away. It's coming. Really what I guess like my directive is like they say the first week you need to like trend.
I mean, you are going to trend. This audience is going to be there streaming.
The emotional ups and downs have been wild. Like
What downs?
Well, there's this idea of like, what if I'm the first one that never, like, that no one watches it? Like,
I think you have such a great audience that loves you so much. There's no way that wouldn't happen.
right. And then there's this thing of like, don't love me that much, like,
You want to manage expectations,
right? But I want basically you want it to trend. Like, I love the people that like this show, like that come to our shows. Like, it's just like they're very. It's not that there's similar sensibility, I'll say, like as far
They
as
enjoy laughing,
fun, and that's what the special is. So I'm hoping, and I can only ask so much of the audience. Please share.
Right.
I want you guys to share. I want you guys to like send it to a friend and post it wherever you can post it. But there's only so much I can like beg of that,
Yeah.
and also so much you can do. Like, and I get that. So I need it to like I want it to trend in such a way that like it ends up on that top 10, like I have a dream of that. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But then I've been getting the clips back, and I've like kind of forgotten some of the bits.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Like I'm like, this
that
is a
guy
pretty good
is very
spin.
funny.
That guy's pretty funny, and
Yeah.
it looks great. I made it with my
Yeah.
friend Mike Lavin. He's the homeless pimp.
Okay.
The homeless pimp. That's his Instagram handle.
Okay.
And it's cool because like it's his coming up story too. Like, I remember when he was taking pictures at the Comedy Cellar and going on the road in a shitty car with other people to make their specials for YouTube. And now he's got a Netflix special.
yeah. I mean, it's amazing to be able to look back and like all the work you did to get here and where you are now.
I was doing open mics at a bar at 4:00 on a Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
that type of shit.
And look at you now.
And look at me now doing,
And I mean, here's the thing. I don't think that much stuff is that funny. And this is extremely funny. I mean, I don't really remember it because it was in December. But,
But you know how you felt after it.
All I remember is me, Sammy, and Eileen just laughing hysterically. And then we went to the first show, and then I heard the second show was even funnier than the first show. So like
Right.
I can only, you know.
We used most of the second show actually.
Right.
But
The first show was I mean, it was just kind of funny to be like something was even funnier than as funny as you originally even thought it was.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's totally a dream come true, and it's thanks to you guys and Betches. And over the years, I look back, I get emotional, and then like my mom's like, "When can I post about it?" This is the text from my dad. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Like, you know, so my mom really wants to post about it. Like, and you know, like moms with Facebook, you know. And you know, like, you ever have your mom post something on Facebook and she's like, "Look at 200 likes." Like, they know the likes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Moms love a
I mean,
like.
your mom also lives in like a sorority.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, they live in a college campus for
My
so-
dad encourages it.
Yeah.
Like, they both think their posts are like going viral.
Okay.
So my mom keeps asking, like, she needs to be like,
I need to follow your mom on Instagram.
"Oh, you gotta follow my mom. Follow her on Facebook. That's where the real stuff happens. She'll comment fabulous on your posts for the rest of your life."
Okay. She's not one of the boomers who like think that if they copy the thing about Facebook stealing their information, that it's going to do anything.
Doesn't do that.
Okay.
My mom's the fabulous to any picture you post. You
Okay.
look amazing.
Beautiful family.
Beautiful family. Emoji. Oh, she finds emojis you didn't even know existed.
Okay.
You're like, how? What?
That's
Where did that?
fun.
Yeah, she's a fun Facebook fan
Okay.
to have. Like I see like Kim Kim commented on so and so. I'm like, she's commenting on this person's like. We haven't talked to them in years, you know. My dad.
No one has less social media shame than
A mom on social
Yeah.
media is like the best thing for you and the most embarrassing thing for you. Like,
What did she post?
So she doesn't post it yet, but my dad wrote, "Send mom something to post, then we will get some real action."
This is so funny. It's everything about this just feels like you're engaged, just
Yes.
because it'd be like, don't post the engagement until I post the
Right.
engagement. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are my likes. You can post after me. Or people do that. I remember like,
Oh my
you know,
God.
people have a baby and you see the baby before they've announced the baby. They're like, don't post the baby like that. Like, we're posting the baby and then you can post it after.
This is so true. I'm going on Facebook to see what she posted because I haven't checked my phone. How fabulous. I knew she would use the word fabulous.
Okay.
How fabulous are you, Jared Freed? So proud and excited for you. And then star emojis. Like, when have you ever seen that emoji? I don't even know.
You're a star.
Again.
That's a great mom.
It's
post.
a great mom post, and then and then
like
like
that it's
Jewish
short.
woman, thumbs up, like these emojis.
How many likes?
Not much.
How many?
10 so far, but I think she
Hasn't
posted
been up
it.
that long.
She posted it 10 minutes ago. Okay, the streets haven't buzzed yet.
Right. It's so funny.
It's just so funny. It's all feels good.
Do you ever see Larry David's like stand up about, was it Larry David or Seinfeld? One of them had the stand up where they were talking about like the inventor, the Jonas Salk polio vaccine inventor, and like his Jewish mother. Like,
I think it was Larry David.
Right. Like, how's your son doing? Like, oh, my son, he just invented the vaccine for polio.
Yeah. It just I remember it ish. I think it was definitely.
It was one of the two of them. I don't know why I can't remember. I think it was Larry David too.
It's the mom stuff is just incredible. I mean, so now I have a whole new hour of material that is all, and I posted this picture, like I called it the family business tour, but it's a picture of like my family and this random guy that we know. It was like a joke. People are like,
tailor?
"Are your parents? What's that?"
The tailor?
No, not the tailor. It was this guy, Bobby Joe, who's like a friend of my parents. I just had this picture of him. I just thought it would be funny. And my mom thought it was funny. Everyone was like, "Do they come on stage with you?" I had people asking me if the jokes are all about my family. It does look like.
And you call it the family business. So
Right.
it does seem like the whole family's working for you, like your mom's your manager.
Right, it was a mistake.
You're a child star.
Yeah, the whole thing was stupid. Yeah. So, but I'm going on tour right now. Like, my stand-up show.
Yeah.
And
Has your mom ever asked if she could manage you?
No. She can't manage herself. But all the jokes are about my family, like the mom stuff that you're talking about, like Jonas Salk.
Right.
And it's been cool because I've been on the road a little bit. I went to Stamford last weekend, and like you see parents in the crowd, and like they're really enjoying. So it's like it's cool to see like this special's out. You can go home, watch it with your family. You can watch it with friends. There's nothing that's really there's nothing that would make you feel weird next to your mom or dad, in my opinion. And then you can bring them to a show, and it's a whole new act. So,
well, I'm pumped. I'm
excited.
Me and all the betches will be at the Paramount show in Huntington. And Sammy's mom wants to come, so she'll be there too.
She should definitely cut. She will love the stuff about my mom, and it's all crazy. And they're all true stories. So, Raleigh, Lexington. I'm going to be in Colchester, Connecticut. Colchester. Priam Vineyards and Winery. I'm doing a vineyard show.
Ooh, that's fun. When's that?
That's September 2nd.
Nice.
So like Labor Day. Providence. And then Atlanta, Huntington, Seattle, Charlotte, Philly, DC, Baltimore, San Diego, Boston. So it's all happening. JaredFree.com for tickets. You'll see a whole new act, then the special, and also the special. We want people to...
Of course.
So
you're going to love it. And post it on your story so that other people know where to find a funny comedy special.
Right. That's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, there's no... This is for you and your friends. Like, if whatever. So let's jump right in.
Right.
Yeah. We should
half
just
an hour.
Jump right into the show.
I'm ready to jump. I think we had some meaty conversation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
I've given more updates than I've given in years.
It's been a while. The movie theater thing, it's a real... I've had that feeling. It's so, and it's from your worst, most untrusting place.
Right. And I don't even usually get like that. And I was like that a little bit.
And you get angry. You're like, you start getting weirdly mad at like gun laws.
Right. And then I'm like, how is it that this is the only place where you can just walk into a crowded room and just sit there and everyone's
no
there
one
together.
Checks anything.
Right. And I never think about that. But then it's scary.
And then you do, and it's not a...
But then I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, why would they pick this showtime? Like,
I've done the same thought. Right? Candace just agreed. I've done it, and then you have this moment where I've been on the road in like nowhere, Illinois, in a movie theater. I'm going, this is the place this happens. Like I've just like judged the whole fucking rural area like a piece of shit. Now, and I feel like shit. I totally understand that.
And then you feel like now why should I have to feel like this? Is
right.
You get mad at like you're like the world just for...
You feel a little helpless. Yeah, I totally get it. Let's go. But I think our email today kind of like works into that. Like, these little inside thoughts, like not to steer us, not to jump us right in. But I do think the email is in this vein of like who we are, who we want to be.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot of different. Just weighing things, I think, is also.
From all angles. Let's go into it.
All right, I'll read it. Jump right in. Hey, Jay and Jay, I have something that I think is a good topic for discussion. How much should a potential partner have your back in a relationship? I recently had a situation where a member of my work industry was harassing me for the past few months. Eventually, I took legal action and the harassment ended. To add some more context to this story I'm about to share, the two men I'm about to mention, Tom and Drew, also work in the same industry as I do. During this time period when I was being harassed, the guy I was seeing, Tom, would hear about the harassment and his responses were, "That's unfortunate. I don't know why he's like that." I didn't appreciate the lackluster response to the harassment I was receiving, but I also chalked it up to Tom being a pretty mellow person. However, as the harassment continued, one of my male friends, Drew, stood up to my harasser on multiple occasions. He told the harasser to leave me alone, called the harasser out on his behavior publicly, and ultimately had my back in the situation. Tom had the same opportunities to defend me and just didn't. Ultimately, this made me disappointed in Tom and how he approaches situations. I'm a big girl who can take care of myself, but the support would have been nice from Tom. I was already on the fence about dating Tom in general, but this really pushed it over the edge into me not wanting to see Tom anymore. Curious to hear your thoughts about how this played out.
I guess my thoughts aren't really that extreme, or I don't think anyone... I don't know. I don't think they're that like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, again, this is a very specific case where there's actual legal action that needed to be taken to stop harassment, which is horrible. I wouldn't wish on anybody, of course, but at the same time, you have this thing. It's funny because it's like, it's hard to talk lightly about this, knowing that there was a real serious thing happened. Right. I don't want to make light of this because this person took legal action. I'm happy it's over at this point. But like this guy, Tom, in my opinion, it's like, I don't know what the other opinion other than you had this thing happen. This person reacted in the way that they reacted. It disappointed you and turned you off.
Right.
You ended it.
Yeah.
It's pretty mathematical to me.
Yeah, I agree. It seems pretty straightforward. Like she didn't like the way he reacted. I
Right.
think there's absolutely nothing wrong with being really turned off by that. So other people might not care. She does.
Right.
And I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Right. I guess like you know,
Like, would she want the other extreme where he's like threatening to fight the person, or like, I guess she wants.
Well, she's comparing it to.
Right. She wants what her friend, what her male friend did.
Right, and she literally had an example. You know, I think for her specifically, like she did have the example that made her feel good and the example that made her feel bad. So she was probably more confident in her decision to leave this relationship.
Right.
Because she goes
she had a solid example of this is what could have been done.
Right. Most people aren't so lucky, you know, to see like, here's the version that makes me turned off. Here's the version that I would have been turned on by.
Yes.
And there's the simple math on that's why I dumped this guy and I look for someone who would do the thing that I saw happen in real time. Like, you know, I'm not saying she's lucky to be harassed. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying she's lucky to
have gotten two examples of what to see what her actual preference would
right.
be.
In most scenarios, you have to trust your gut. I would have liked for him to do this thing.
Right.
And you have to go, would anyone even do that? Like, again, like, I have a little bit of empathy for the guy who didn't do much. And I know that's hard to say, but you go, I don't know how I would act.
Right.
Until the situation presented itself.
Here's the thing. I think it's more than the fact that the guy didn't like stand up for her and defend her. What did the other guy do?
Stood up on multiple occasions. He told the harasser to leave me alone, called the harasser out on his behavior publicly, ultimately had my back. That's a heroic thing to do that we all kind of wish we would be.
Well, I think even more than that, it's that even if the boyfriend was outraged to her personally, but didn't really feel like it was his place to do that, if it was, let's say, in his mind, it was being taken care of and he didn't really feel like it was his place to like get involved. To say to her when she tells him about that she's being harassed at work, that's unfortunate. I don't know why he's like that. That's like someone like showed up. But that to me is akin to me being like, my friend showed up late to half an hour late to our lunch. That would warrant, that's unfortunate. I don't know why they're like that.
Well,
but what he, and to say that in response to you telling someone probably a relatively traumatizing story, to me is just kind of like, do you even care?
Well, I guess it shows you their priorities. When I heard that, I go, oh, this guy cares about how keeping his job more than keeping his girlfriend or the person he's seeing.
But even just to her, that's what I'm saying. Like, if even privately to her to just be like, that's really fucked up. Like, what are you, even if he was like, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, to me, that's even more so him showing his cards of like, I'm Switzerland.
Right.
You know, I'm staying out of this because if I don't even want to be quoted. You know, he doesn't even trust her to be like, well, Tom said.
Yeah.
He would go, oh, whoa. You know, I don't want to be involved. Like, that's how afraid he is of getting involved in this scenario. And it's a teachable moment of how he sees you and the standings of his life, the prioritizations of his life, how he...
Yeah, to me, it would be like, you don't really care about me that much if that's your reaction to me telling you something that happened to me that was really upsetting.
Right. Now, I guess because this is such a specific situation that feels like I think I agree with her. You know, like I would feel the same way.
Same. Yeah.
Right. Like
there's something very hot about someone standing up for you, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like take it. But is there I'm trying to think of like the relatable version of this. Like, listen, I'm sure there's people out there who've been harassed at work.
Well, I mean, even in any kind of fight that anyone has around their significant other, but that's not with them, that's adjacent to them. What is their reaction?
Right. Like, would you, let's say you're at a restaurant and the server's kind of a dick and Mike looks and goes, I don't think they're that much of a dick. And you're like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's unfortunate. I don't know why he's like that.
Right. Right. Would that,
yeah, that
how
would
do you deal with that?
I mean, it would depend on how blatantly, obviously, they were a dick or rude they were. But I will say in situation, and I do think it takes, I understand like what you're saying about this guy, maybe not thinking it's his place, because I do think Mike is maybe the kind of person that it would take a lot for him to be like moved to be like yelling at someone, as for example.
I mean, that's why I'm like, I have I'm not. I don't think this guy. I don't think she should stay with this guy. But I do empathize with the idea. Like you're at work. I don't know what my place is to say or not say or whatever. I can understand why someone lives up to the challenge and doesn't live up to it. You know, it's like this is like that movie where they get snowed in and the guy runs away from his family.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've brought it up here before where, you know, and they made a funny version of it with Will Ferrell, but like the movie premise was like there's an avalanche, the guy basically ditches his family and then there's no avalanche and now he's going to like live with his wife and kids who he ditched.
Right.
And you go, what the relationship has changed from here. And I think this is an extreme example and for all of us to go, when am I allowed to be turned off? You know, that's what they're asking. Was I right to be turned off? I'm not going to tell them how to feel.
Yeah. And I think it totally depends on the situation. To make it a lighter, I'm trying to think of like a lighter situation that maybe, like when I try to cut the boarding line.
I was just going to think about the same thing. Yeah.
Well, when I'm cutting, like if I cut the boarding line, and I think once I did this with Mike, when I said he hates when I do it, he gets embarrassed. Someone was like, kind of like said something to me.
Yeah.
And I think he was almost like, see? But
I wasn't I was right the whole time. But
I don't want to be dating the person who's like screaming at the person who's like, wait in line.
Right. I don't want.
But you want, you know what I mean? You want something sort of in the middle.
Right. You don't want someone that just agrees with you just to agree with you, just to shut you the fuck up. You also don't want someone that takes the other side on every single thing you say to like, I don't want to date a devil's advocate. Right. Like I do want a little bit of delusion together. Like, you ever growing up.
Well, it's more like, do you care about something that I care about?
Right.
It's bothering me.
Mm-hmm. And do you care that I care?
Yes.
You know, like how much, how much.
I like a little bit of devil's advocate if I'm being, sometimes you are being a little bit unreasonable. Sometimes, I mean, we all,
of course.
I sometimes get annoyed at a friend and I'll vent to Mike about it. And he'll be like, well, this person might have, like, they might be going through their own thing or like they're not thinking of that or like you. And I sometimes appreciate that. It really depends.
I think in a relationship, I always have this thing of like, am I being seen? Mm-hmm. You know, they say that a lot on The Bachelor. Like, I feel seen. I think it's like in this moment where you go, I know I'm delusional and ridiculous.
Right.
But do you see
why I'm
so delusional and ridiculous in this scenario? Do you see why I'm fired up? Do you see? And if you're just told you're ridiculous, or in this sense, just told, you know, that must suck for you. You know, like sucks to be
That's
you.
Unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. You go, well, did you even like right? What you said in the beginning is like, just say like, this is horrific. Yeah. You know, like just give me. You know, can you see why I'm at this, scenario? Why I'm feeling down? Why I'm in it? It's like, I think that's what we're asking from relationships, in partners. Like,
do you understand me?
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And I could see where in this scenario, this guy didn't get her.
Right. Or if he did, he didn't care enough to do anything.
Right.
Either one of those things is true.
Right. Yeah, like going and cutting the line with me is not as important as seeing why I'm a little anxious about getting on the plane and getting my stuff above my head.
Right.
As opposed to fighting through to get like my, carry-on the plane.
Yeah.
Do you understand why I'm an idiot? Right. Right? Like, can you understand why I'm worried that my bag won't make the connection?
I agree. And I mean, I don't think that someone needs to yes you all the time.
No.
I think it really depends on the situation and how this seems like fairly clear that it was like a situation that she was entitled to be really upset about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the lawyers agree. Like there was actual, and again, nothing is this. Very rarely is it this cut and dry the way she got it.
Yeah,
that's where the glass half full of this is like, you got answers. Right. Like most people don't. Most people go, I wish there was the other guy who showed me. Because I could understand if that other person who stood up for her didn't exist, she would go, well, maybe this is just not what people do.
Right. Maybe it was not.
Maybe I'm asking for too much.
Right. Yeah. No. So I think it was lucky for her that, like you said, lucky that she got an example of what she thought was hot in a relationship, and she can look for that in the next person.
Right.
It's hard to ask about that before you get to that point. You know what I mean? That's not a kind of thing where in early dating you can like really suss out. It's like, how would you act if someone was being rude to me publicly?
And everyone would kind of say, well, I'd stand up for my gal. And you're like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
You think that, and then they do or they don't,
Yeah. And I think it's kind of, I mean, like I've had situations with Mike where like he has spoken up and defended me, and I think it's very hot. And it's like the kind of thing, again, you wouldn't know. until it
Unhand
happened.
her. Let's do some awkward sex. UUP@betches.com. Keep sending them in. I like this one.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Okay.
J&J, longtime listener, first time writing in. I have an awkward sex story from a few months ago. I started dating a 30-year-old man. I'm 28-year-old female and decided to try Matchmaker Maria's 12-date rule. We're big fans of Matchmaker Maria here. Go follow her. Her 12-date rule is on her Instagram highlights, I'm sure, so you should all check it out. So after dating for just less than a month, it was time. So I guess they had their 12 dates. Time to see.
Or meetups, yeah.
It was 12 meetups, yes. It was time to bump uglies. We had made out a bunch of times, and he'd gone down on me already with no red flags.
Are you allowed to go down on someone in the 12-date period?
I guess that's
so.
Maria. Well, if she was here, I'll allow it. Anyway, we started having sex, and it just never ended. This man was pumping away for over an hour. To be clear, Jordana gasped.
It's a long time.
Over an hour. So I guess
That's a
I'll stop
long
this
time,
email.
yeah.
He's pumping away for over an hour. Listen,
It's too long.
there's a piece of me that wishes I had this issue.
It's funny.
I go the other way.
I feel like men think that that's like appealing.
Well, this is actually a question I wrote down. What is the optimal sex time for a woman?
It's
What do
not
you
an
want?
hour.
Not an hour.
Not an hour.
So if it's not an hour and it's not 10 seconds,
I think it's less than. I think it's like 20 minutes or less.
20 minutes, holy fuck.
And that's like the longest.
The longest
I'm saying that's
upside.
on the, yes,
okay.
that's
And we're
the
talking foreplay included, or are we penetration? I want to know penetration.
I think probably foreplay included.
Foreplay included 20 minutes?
I think so. I mean, it's
For a
hard. It's
sexual
hard. You're never
experience?
really looking at the time.
You're not.
I've never.
I'm there with a
Right.
sundial
Yeah.
on the
I think
counter.
including foreplay. It's a lot. An hour is crazy.
Hour of pumpage.
An hour is like uncomfortable.
Not for me. No, it is this thing where I don't think I know
It's
when
like when if we have a stand-up show and you go for too long.
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
Like,
The audience looking at their clocks.
right. That's not where you want to be. You
No.
want to be like, leave the person maybe wanting a tiny bit more, but that's about it.
And I guess, the reason men don't understand this time thing is we have an explosion that signals the end.
Right.
We have a very specific, result
Yeah.
of an ending of this process. With women, again, if they're coming in whatever way they could come multiple times, they could come 0 times, they could come in different ways. There's just
What's your if you got to choose?
What would I like?
Let's say you could choose.
Foreplay included?
Yes, whole experience.
15 minutes, I think everyone's had it. Like, I am a
That's fair.
people pleaser.
Yes.
I am
Well, that's why I'm saying 20 is like
15, right?
Tops.
If including kisses on the neck.
sure.
Like from kiss on the neck to me, 15
Okay.
minutes, I think, would be a nice night for everyone
Right.
involved. I sound like a Jewish woman who just had Rosh Hashanah. It'd be a good night for everyone in attendance, I think.
Yes, I think that would be perfect.
And again, this also includes like maybe you're doing something different, get some kinks involved.
Right, take your time.
Take your time,
but, like,
whatever. I think the
also-
15-minute window. Listen, I've been in scenarios where I'm like, this is going to be a 1-minute exchange.
Honestly, I'd rather 1 minute than an hour.
Can we get that on a T-shirt?
I think because an hour feels physically uncomfortable. 1
Right.
minute is just like this is not like satisfying, but it's like
Again,
it's sort of like torture versus like a subpar experience.
I guess from the male side,
Mm-hmm.
like especially like the first time,
Okay, the first
if it's a minute,
yeah.
you go, oh, this is who I am to this
Fine,
person.
Fine, okay.
Like, give me
Right.
another shot. I can do it, coach, whatever.
That's fair. If you
First
have no
time-
other experiences with that person, probably closer to an hour would be better than closer to a minute.
Right. It's within me to go less than that. I can understand where they go,
I think someone has to call it at a certain point. Right.
like a referee.
Yeah.
Call the match.
I mean, don't you think at
No
a certain
more
point,
P in the
at a
V.
certain point someone
Yeah.
could be like, all right, let's take a little break.
That's enough, kid. Get out of here.
I mean, it's kind of like losing its lust. It's
right.
After a while.
Right. There is a point of let's just chalk it up.
Right. This is enough.
And that's also up to the guy, I think, a lot of times where it's like, dude, are you going to do this or not? Yeah, is this going to happen or not? And a lot of, women, what you hear, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't, you've heard is that a lot of women don't come from penetration.
Well, that's the other thing. So it's like, okay.
I need a little, like you would want some, direction in that, like to know.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what can we do here?
Right, let's make a deal.
Is it not happening?
Right. I'd like to know, I guess from my side, you'd like a whisper in the air of like, here, I guess, if you could have like the menu
Here's
before,
the manual. Yeah.
Right. Here's what makes me come. Here's what doesn't. If you knew that, if it was just on the side of the bedpost.
I mean, what's the other option? Just keep doing the same thing for an hour. If you're doing the same thing and it hasn't happened after an hour, it's never happening.
Definition of an insanity.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back to the email. So they've been pumping for an hour. To be clear, I also took turns on top doing some of the work, but it turned into a marathon that I was not prepared for. He has one of those light up alarms beside his bed, so I was actually able to look over and see that I wasn't just imagining it. It legitimately took him over an hour to come. When he finally did, I was on top. I started to get off him, and he said, "Wait!" He leaned over to grab the tissues. He said he didn't want the condom to spill. I was like, it's just cum, but okay. I slowly get off and realize that the condom is stuck inside me. His penis was pretty skinny.
That's
skinny peen.
A bad description.
Skinny penis is not how I want my penis to be described.
No one wants, I don't think many men are like.
Have you seen a skinny penis?
I don't know, I've never I guess, like they're like longer and thinner, maybe.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
Would you rather skinny penis long or fat penis short? And again, you're not answering for every woman out there. Everyone could have their own, I
think skinny long.
Skinny long?
Probably.
So long better than short, just in most occasions.
I think.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, would you rather have a skinny penis, a skinny long, or a
I guess I'd rather have, I've always described, I'm rambling now. I've never had the penis inadequacy. That's not something that's bothered me about myself. I've always been, but I'm not saying I'm not. This is not
an audience. If you're listening,
if anyone's listening, my mom included. Thank you for giving me these medium penis genes. Okay. I'm a strong medium. I would say
strong medium penis.
Strong medium. Okay. I've said that for years on podcasts.
Yeah, I can't wait to have these discussions in my recording in my in-laws.
Well, Jordana talked about living with us. We'll listen to the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a strong medium. I think that should be the name of the next special. But I guess skinny. If I was to if you did the would you rather?
Yeah.
I'd rather skinny long. It depends. Just a pool noodle hanging off of me.
How skinny versus how short. I think it's all
Right. Yeah, I mean,
a little skinnier than usual versus a little shorter than usual. It's kind of like versus the extremes. The extremes are also bad. I don't know.
Right. It's so tough. Yeah, the penis size thing. It's just like it's tough for everybody involved. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
If you love the person, that's just
you make it work.
Now you would just make a skinny penis work.
Yeah.
His penis was pretty skinny. So. So I slowly get off and realize the condom is stuck inside me, so it spills all over his stomach. He proceeds to go, ew, 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 ew.
That's not
hot.
Yeah.
And I guess there's no way. You want somewhere in between. You don't want him being like, ooh, yeah. Like, rub it in. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Some people are cum people.
I think you want someone who's relaxed.
Yeah, it's his cum.
Not like disgusted. Yeah.
Right. I mean, what's so disgusting? She should have just taken it with her finger and stuck it in his mouth.
Right. Try it.
Fuck
it's
you.
Good.
And frantically grabs the tissues to wipe himself off. Luckily, the lights are off because I was rolling my eyes big time. He immediately gets up and says, I need to shower, and basically runs to the bathroom. I am embarrassed to say I continued to date him for 2 more months before he broke up with me. When I tried to define the relationship at the 3-month mark, probably for the best.
I always wonder how these stories would go if they were still together. Would they be different? Would she leave out certain details?
Right.
Would she make it more flattering to him?
I guess maybe the skinny penis part.
Yeah.
She'd leave. I think for them to move on as a couple, she would have to discuss his aversion to cum.
Yes.
Why? Like, I would need this.
He dumped her. So
I know.
She might not
right.
have even cared. Yeah, the ew is not.
Of the three things, long time. So we usually play red flag or deal breaker,
Right.
but there's three specific things that happen: pumping for an hour, skinny
Red
penis,
flag. Uh-huh.
weirdness with cum. How would you rank them from most disgusted to least problematic?
The weirdness with cum is the least attractive.
Okay.
I think. The hour, I think, is fine. Like, maybe he thinks it's happening. And then the skinny penis, I think also, maybe that was just something she said. Like, depends how skinny he was. I'm sure it's fine.
Right.
I think the first two, not a big deal. The disgustedness with the cum is like sort of an issue.
It is funny that a man sent this in and he would sound evil. Like, I tried thinking, and I'm not here to like.
Well, it's his own bodily fluid too.
Well, I fine, you're right. And I guess if a guy wrote in, she's got this skinny vagina.
Isn't that a good thing?
I don't know. Even know at this point. She's got this narrow vagina.
Okay.
And she hates my cum. And
it would sound like
she
a
wouldn't
monster.
stop for an hour.
I think it's more socially acceptable to dislike someone else's cum than your own.
Right, I agree with that.
It wouldn't.
If a woman was like, ew, ew, I would be like, yeah, I kind of get it.
Squirted or something, and then he was like, and she was like grossed out by that. I think that would be equally like unappealing.
Right. Yeah, if she squirted and then hated her own squirt.
Right.
It's an interesting discussion.
A lot of bodily fluids here.
Do you have any names?
I call this Something's Coming.
What did I have? I had a bunch written down yesterday.
Candace had the complainer. Very good. I like that. Very punny.
Right.
And
I loved
Coming
it.
Clean.
Coming Clean is great. Hold on. Now I have to search my calendar for cum. I had a really good one too. What the fuck? Okay. This was I was proud of myself.
Let's hear it.
Come on already.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Right?
Perfect.
Play on both the cum and the time. I also had completely ridiculous.
Oh, I like that.
Skinny peen probs. And that was it.
Put that on a shirt.
Right. Skinny peen probs. Let's do another email.
Okay. Hi, J&J, huge fan. As a Canadian living in Amsterdam, I was really excited when Jared did his EU tour so I could come and watch. Crushed it.
Amsterdam was a great time.
I would imagine.
Amsterdam, because they have
in the red light district?
No. I stayed away from the red light district. I did just enjoy Amsterdam, like as like a not college kid who's like fiending for weed.
I want to go back as like a real person also.
I think you would enjoy it. I think it's like one of those cities that like, if you don't do that and you do like an adult time, you'll love it. And I think the time of year I went was great. It was like still like spring, but cool. And they have a club there called, what the fuck? They have a comedy club. And
one comedy club?
Yeah, it's like famous. Boom Chicago.
Okay.
And you're
it's called Chicago. It's called
Boom Chicago. Okay. Yeah. So it's like they know stand up. Like so they have like a little bit of a experience with it. So I had people in the crowd that were just like, American stand up, we go. You know, so there were like sold out 300 people, and not every show was that. You know, it was
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
It sounds like this person enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. 37 Singles out August 15th on Netflix. And is it
on Netflix in Europe?
I hope to God it is. So I wanted that audience to build up. And the material I did in Europe was half the new stuff, half the old stuff. Like I was still like trying to work out the new stuff. So there's more, again, you're going to see a different hour than they saw in Amsterdam.
Well, if you're listening abroad.
This is why we write every day.
Yes, for this.
Yes.
My partner and I have been together for 6 years. Have traveled the world together, creating lifelong memories, and we're now settled in Amsterdam. Sounds lovely. He's from the Netherlands, and I'm obviously not. So it was a small sacrifice as I had to do the visa process, learn the language. Dutch is not an easy language. It does not seem like that. And start a whole new life here. Not complaining. I have an amazing job and really love my life in Amsterdam with him. His family and friends have been really welcoming to me, and I feel at home in this country. Fast forward 3 years. Okay.
Uh-oh.
However, the past 12 months have been a struggle in our relationship. We're constantly arguing over little things, and our relationship feels more like brother, sister, or roomies than romantic partners. We get irritated quickly with each other, both have our own plans during the week, and seem to only spend quality time together over the weekends. But normally with our groups of friends, only spend quality time together over the weekends, but normally with our groups. Okay, so they spend quality time with the groups of friends with each other.
Right.
Sometimes I'll leave the party early and he will stay out late or vice versa. Also, with the language barrier, it's hard for us to express our feelings and communicate clearly with each other, so this gets frustrating. 3 weeks ago, it came to a head and we've decided to take a mutual break to think about what we really want. Are we really happy? Can this be worked on? Or will we fall back into old patterns straight away? He's my best friend and I can't see my life without him. I've been outside of our apartment and the city to really take time to think about what I want. I've been doing weekly therapy and talking a lot about the situation with my family and friends. Whereas he has spent this time drinking, going out, and now has decided he's taking a break and going to a friend's cabin to go fishing as he couldn't think in the city. Should we end this relationship and move on?
All these Heinekens made it hard for me to think. Yeah.
I went to the Heineken Museum. Is fun. And
I had a good time.
Great. I
Good
enjoyed
rooftop.
it. Oh yeah, your stories from there were
Yeah.
very funny. Is he procrastinating the difficult conversation? Any advice would be helpful, as my mind and heart are both fighting a battle here. I have a lot of thoughts on this email.
I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts are that you are a bad person for breaking. I would imagine one would think they could not end the relationship when someone has moved countries to be with them.
Right.
So I think that he's not going to end it. She has to end it.
Right.
Because that's like, I would
Right.
feel really bad if someone moved from Canada to Amsterdam to be with me, and then I was the one that ended it.
Right. And it is funny that you say it that way. I agree with you. I mean, I felt guilt with having someone do less. And I will say it does kind of say a lot that she's like, okay, let's take a break to go think about what we want. And his idea, I guess I'll just wait it out until she's ready to dump me.
That kind of
basically
feels
what
what
he
it feels
did,
like,
yeah.
right? Because I think that I understandably so. I don't think it's right. I don't think like this is what someone would prefer, but I do think there's part of him that's like, I'm not going to break up with this person that moved here for me. Like she's got to do it.
Right.
So this can't be my idea to like kick her out of this country, essentially.
Totally. I would do the same as him.
Yeah.
I'm not a better person than this guy. I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I feel horrible. I would feel horrible. Yeah. Exactly what you're saying. I also think this is like the point in a relationship. What she's bringing up is like this weird point where it's like they've been together long enough that if they do the next step, they will forget this feeling for like a good year and a half, 2 years.
Like if they get engaged?
Because all the next steps are distractions.
Right.
All the next steps, engagement, wedding, honeymoon, and that's a year and a half to 2 year process. And I always wonder, how do people get divorced quickly after a marriage?
Yeah, that always seems strange to me when someone's married like less than a year and gets divorced or something.
Right. And I think it's because it's not less than a year. It's the distraction.
Right.
The
Were having
fog.
problems before.
Right.
They decided to sweep them under the rug and just keep going. And then they came at them when they were like done with the distraction. It's a great point.
Right. So I think for her, like, this is a really important spot, is like, you're gonna get engaged and be fine. You're gonna go, wow, I guess that wasn't an issue.
Right.
But it's still there. You're still this couple. This is you together at the most clear it's ever been.
Right.
Then the fog of engagement and marriage come in and distracts you and makes you not see these things. And then that's going to go away. And then some people have a baby or they get divorced.
Right.
They look for the next distraction or they don't.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I think for her, and when she says in this email, also with the language barrier, it's hard for us to express our feelings and communicate clearly with each other.
That seems like that would have been an issue the whole time.
Right. Why is it just an issue now when you have issues? You guys were pretty good at expressing yourself when you were best friends traveling the world.
Right.
And again, to go back to the distraction thing, she mentioned they traveled the world together. That's a distraction. When I was in Europe and I was doing
they're doing this long distance thing. She's in a new country,
Right.
exploring, seeing everything.
the minute they got to them two,
everyday life.
everyday life,
Yeah.
boring, no trips, no distance, you hated it. So
12, and it's been 12 months.
right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see that because you go, but the good times. And again, I'm not saying those weren't good times. When I was in Europe doing the tour, like, it was the best time of my life, but also distractions. There wasn't a bill.
Right.
You know, there wasn't, there wasn't a special that wasn't sold. There wasn't, all these things were just like, I'm on the move. I'm going to the next location. I'm on the flight. Oh, let's Instagram story that. And then you get home and it's gone. And you feel the life you have. And you're like, wow, there's a lot of hours in this day.
Yeah.
So I think that's what she has to acknowledge.
And I would say to him, again, I think like to get ahead of what he's doing, I think you could say, listen, I understand that it might be hard for you to express how you're really feeling, because she says the language barrier. But I think what I would say
I don't
is,
buy that for a second.
I think it might be hard for you to express how you're really feeling. Maybe you feel a little bit of guilt that I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
But I would, and I think that, I know you say you would do this too, but I'm saying, I think she should say, I would rather know if you're really committed to making this work, or if you kind of feel like this isn't working out, we're not a match, this isn't going to work. I'd rather know that from you than you just kind of wait for me to break up with you just because I moved here for you. And I understand maybe you feel a little guilt about that. I made that decision on my own, and I don't regret making that decision, even if we don't work out.
Right. And I think,
like he wants to know she's not going to throw that in his face, I assume.
Which, yeah, I agree. And I think the thing that men are told is, a lot of times is like, if he's, I like what you said, like, we're not a match. Like, that can be the reason.
Yeah.
I think, well, I need closure, and we're not a match. What does that mean? I don't know.
Well, you can still, I think you can still have ill will towards someone, even if you're not, even if, because if one person thinks you're the match and the other person doesn't, it can still, you could feel hard feelings. That's fine.
And you didn't even try to make us the match. You didn't try and shove these puzzle pieces together.
Right.
Fine. I didn't try. But at the same time, you tried. We are not a match.
3 years.
3 years.
Right, yeah.
And you're at that point. Like, next shit has to happen. That's why she's writing into us. Yeah. That's why they're having the let's take a break moment, because there was no other, do we just keep doing this?
I would spend this break thinking about what a life without him looks like in your life.
Right.
Do you go home? Do you stay here? Maybe you like it. You don't have to leave.
Right.
Maybe you like it. Maybe you stay. Maybe you're kind of like, I don't really want to be here if not for this relationship. I would think about, if I were her, I would just think about what I want to do in life without, if I took away this relationship, what would my life look like? Because I think it's kind of scary to think about that. But if you have a sense of it, it can feel less scary.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And right now she's thinking of like, what makes me happy? Well, not what makes me happy. How would I agree with you? Will I be okay in the next phase of life? Which she will.
Right. Well, I can imagine for him, he's kind of like, well, what is she gonna? He's probably like, well, if I break up with her, what is she gonna do?
Right.
She moved here like for me.
Right. Right. I would feel so guilty.
Weird,
I would,
yeah.
Awful. Yeah, it wouldn't. You're right about he's not going to do this ever.
I think he should. I think it's very hard to do, but like I think most people would. I think if you moved somewhere for someone, and you wouldn't want them to just stay with you because they felt bad that you moved there, right?
Right. No,
unless they were going to really try to work on it.
And I would bring it up to them if we were having problems. Don't worry about me getting home. Don't worry about me. Like, I would actually say that to them. I will be fine.
Right.
Let's talk about
it. Let's take that out of the equation.
I'll move, I'm going to be.
I'm an adult. I'll make it work.
I'm going to move back. I'm not going to be homeless and, where am I going to live in Amsterdam?
Because I do think it can feel like if you move anywhere for someone, you feel a little bit responsible for their life there.
Absolutely. If I had someone.
If they were unhappy, it doesn't sounds like she's happy and she's got friends and a career and everything, but
they always say to you, I didn't move here for you. I've had situations where it's like, I think I was part of this decision, but I wasn't. But I was told I wasn't. No, it just made sense. And you're like,
but you always are.
You always are. Yeah. You're a part of that. And so-and-so's there.
It's like if you have a kid with someone, I think you have to acknowledge that's if there's something where it makes it harder to leave. And like anything you do that is more of an effort and more of a commitment with the person makes the decision to leave that much more serious.
And he can't say that. He can't say, take away your move after this.
I mean, no one ever says like, I feel like obligated to stay because we have a kid together. No one says that.
Right. Yeah. But again, like you can't say to the person, like if you're trying to fix the relationship and there's that kid hovering around or the living situation hovering around, someone has to say,
take it out of it.
Take that out.
Right. Yeah.
And it has to be especially the one who moved, I think. Right. Like she needs to say that.
Right.
He's never.
Right.
It's not.
Let's take this out of the equation. Let's figure out if we can actually make it work.
Right.
If not, we'll both figure it out.
I'll move somewhere. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
This week we were playing Thirsty or Nah, sponsored by the innovative food and drinkware company Stanley. Whether you're headed to a pickup game or you're cheering on your crush, Stanley's Ice Flow Flip Straw Tumbler is essential for your summer hydration. Plus, the new Ice Flow Varsity Collection features stripes or mesh reminiscent of a throwback athletic wear, but with a modern retro feel. So here's how we play Thirsty or Not. We have a few scenarios from listeners for which we need to determine whether someone's being too thirsty, meaning are these dating moves overeager to the point of weird, or is it a nah? And could it lead to a relationship? And here we go. You ready to play the game?
I'm ready. Okay. You ready for the first one?
Sure. His text after the first kiss is kind of intense. I went on a first date with a guy and it went pretty well. We got drinks and hung out for about 2 hours. Then at the end of the night, I gave him a kiss. One single kiss. 3 hours later, he sent me the following text. I can't stop thinking about you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
This is a total nah
Yeah,
for me.
if you feel like that's thirsty, you don't like the person.
Right.
That's not about them.
Totally. That's one of those things where it's like, I
You had
can't
a
stop
great
thinking of
time?
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
great time. 2 hours out. Can't stop thinking about you. It's like, and also, you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to take this into the sexual space.
You think?
I know.
Okay. What are you expecting as a response to "Can't Stop Thinking About You"?
I can't stop thinking about you either. That kiss was so hot. Like,
oh, you think they're taking it into a sexual territory? I wouldn't have gone there.
you don't have to,
Okay.
but I would expect positivity.
Yeah, no, if you like them, yeah.
We hung out for about 2 hours. Then at the end of the night, I gave him a kiss. I'd be like, I'm turned on by you. I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
letting you
think
know.
there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Literally
I agree.
nothing.
Unless, the only reason you'd be turned off by that if you didn't like the person anyway.
Right.
If you like the person at all, I don't think that's a weird text. at
And
all.
also, it's okay to not like the person after a 2-hour date. It's okay to go, oh, that was my answer to the question.
Right.
I didn't like that text.
Yeah.
Let it answer it for you.
Right. I
Don't
felt
go on
turned off. Yeah.
Right. And because what happens is, oh, well, I guess I'll go out again. He likes me. And then you're out with someone you're not attracted to.
Right. Yeah. It's on for them. It's clearly not on for you.
Oh, it is on.
Yes.
It is on. This is the part where I can be a total douchebag.
Well, I can stop thinking about you. I already did.
Right. I'm already done with this. I mean, this guy, let's do another.
Okay. He offered to pay for me the first time we spoke. I had a membership at a fancy yoga studio and I went 5 times a week. I was preparing to move away for college, and at my local coffee shop, I ran into a guy I recognized from classes at the studio. I would often see him looking at me in class, and I did think he was cute, but we'd never spoken until this run-in. I told him I was saving up for my move, so I couldn't afford to be a member anymore. He offered to pay for my membership, which is pretty pricey. Definitely more than 3 times a gym membership. Until my move date. I did not take the offer, and it was pretty unusual for a stranger to offer up.
Gonna be a thirsty from me.
I agree.
Ages apply here too.
You're paying for the whole membership?
Right. And you see a kid, like going to college. I don't know how old this person is, but they're college aged.
Yeah.
This person's in an expensive workout class. I'm assuming they're not college age. This is a little bit, to me, it's a little predatory.
I could agree. I don't know if it depends how it's done.
I know. I don't hate to use it. I hate to use such a strong
here's
term.
There's a way to do this in a cool, non-predatory way. And it's not about paying for the whole membership because that's weird. I think he could be like, well, I'd love to go to a class with you again, like my treat.
Right.
Right.
That's a different tone.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
There's well, why don't I take you? We can get lunch and then we can go and then get lunch.
Yeah,
on me.
Right. When are you planning to go again?
Right.
I'm down. Yeah, that could be a date. That's a date.
Right. Yeah. It's like
no, this is a sugar daddy situation that he's kind of proposing.
Like when you're paying for a subscription or a membership before you've been on a date,
right.
That's too much.
Right. There's
maybe for a class.
Again, you're right.
Yes.
Class, and again, like normal dude would be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm so and so. What's going on? Oh, I'm moving soon. This is gonna be my last class. I can't really afford it anymore because I'm going to college." Well, cool. Well, next week, I know you like these classes. Let's go on a date. It's different than like, it's paid for, baby girl.
Yeah.
I got you. Papa
in.
Bear has taken care of everything. Like it's the tone is
I
totally
agree.
different.
Well, yeah, and it's just the idea of like anything that you're doing to tie the person to you long term, as opposed to just
Yeah.
for one moment.
To go back,
Do you know what I mean?
To go
It's like,
back
let me pay
to
for your dinners for a week versus let me take you to dinner is very different.
right, totally different. Also, to go back to our email about the Amsterdam woman, like this is a way of knowingly making someone feel guilty
Yeah,
to not let them get out.
agreed. Thirsty.
Thirsty. Glug glug.
Okay. Let's do one more.
Barista slipped me their number. I was interning in Manhattan over the summer, living out my NYC main character fantasy by day and bussing back to my town by night. Every morning,
tunnel.
a little B&T for us.
Just
Every
like me.
morning, I went to the coffee shop near the office, ordered a very particular iced tea lemonade. Grande cup, extra ice. I never said more than good morning, my order, and thank you. But I must have made an impression because one day the barista wrote their number on my drink. I didn't even notice until one of the other interns pointed out the writing on the back of my cup while we were sitting down for the morning huddle. What do you think? Thirsty or not?
It's tough because I want to say, I think it would be like a nah if it was the only time she'd went in there. I think that would be like a nice move. But the fact that she goes in there all the time, I feel like it would make her uncomfortable.
With no conversation at all.
Right. Because now she really can't go back if she's not interested.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess, it's hard because this is a live swipe to me.
Mm-hmm.
He swiped you right.
I think the move is fine
Right.
in a situation where you would only see the person that one time.
That's interesting.
Kind of.
So you're basically, I agree with what you're saying. You've made a place that they feel comfortable going, hypothetically uncomfortable.
Right.
And they don't mean that to do that.
Yeah.
I do think it's a softer play than that, but I could understand why I would feel that way.
Right. I would feel weird going it doesn't even sound like she like noticed the person who gave it to her.
Right.
But I might feel a little weird going back there knowing someone had asked me out. But it is such a subtle way, like she could so easily just ignore it that like maybe it would be fine. I would be like a little annoyed if I wasn't interested because now I would just be like, I have to find a new place.
Right. Yeah.
What if someone did this to you? It's the place you go every day.
I wouldn't feel uncomfortable, but I guess this is the difference between men and women. I don't feel unsafe. I would be like, it's going to be a nah. This isn't thirsty to me. This is a nah. But if I said no to that person, I'd be like, this is very flattering, but it's just not
Would you
for
say
me.
you wouldn't say
No,
that
I
to
wouldn't
them.
say to them, hey, good morning. I just wouldn't say anything at all.
Right.
Maybe I'd be a little bit nicer when I got my drink. I'd be like, hey, I'm Jared, by the way. I know we've never really talked. I don't know. And
if you were nicer, I'd be like, oh, now they're interested.
It worked. Yeah.
And they'd be like, did I smudge the number? Maybe I didn't get all the numbers correct.
He's looking to find out if that was an 8 or a 3.
Right.
Yeah. I just know how I am. I'd be like nice. But it is, the action to me isn't thirsty.
It's not thirsty to me either in a situation that is an isolated, they saw me that one time, they shoot, they
That's
shoot their shot.
interesting.
But I think that the fact that it was like a regular place, you might be kind of ruining it for them.
It's funny because it's sweeter from the person you go all the time, to me.
If it works.
If it works, you know, creepy if not, if hot, not creepy. You know, it's like very much that scenario. But to me, it's like I saw you once. Here's my number. Is like, oh, you really are sweating me. Versus I come in here all the time. There could be the thought he's like, they seem like a pleasant person.
Yeah,
I like their
vibe. I guess if that's all they do, and then the person doesn't call, and then they never bring it up again, then it's not
thirsty.
Right.
Yeah.
It would really depend on like the actions after. So I'm kind of in between.
Okay, that's okay. I'm
gonna call it relatively thirsty.
both of them up. It's a double tumbler.
Yes. It's both.
It's a nah from me. I just think it's sweet to me. Like, and but again, I'm saying that like from a kind of a privileged point of view of like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable going back in.
You wouldn't at all?
Not really.
Wouldn't feel bad. The person.
No.
I feel like the
I'd
person
feel
who
flattered.
I think the person who gave the number would feel uncomfortable.
Right.
They're coming
You
in
kind
all
of
the
fucked
time.
up their office a
They're
little
not
bit.
interested.
Yeah.
You see them all. Like it would be kind of annoying if I did that as a barista. I feel like I'd feel like a little like embarrassed every time they came in if they never texted.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the chance you take when you give out your number.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like
I guess it's weirder for them than you.
He's calculated that.
Yeah.
You know, his feelings. What if this doesn't work out? Is always a calculation within.
That's true.
You know, here's my number. So you've kind of prepared for that blow, unless you're delusional.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless you're like, well, maybe I didn't write it clear. Did you see the number?
Right. I mean, I've gotten that where like there'll be a DM and it's like then the follow-up DM. Maybe you didn't see my DM. I saw it.
That's thirsty.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It's a little much.
Yes.
But.
Both stylish and functional, Stanley's Ice Flow Tumbler Varsity Collection is here just in time for the back-to-college shopping season. The Ice Flow Tumbler keeps your drink ice cold on those sweltering summer days. Its easy-to-carry handle makes it the best back-to-campus tumbler for toting your beverages to those early morning classes. Never look or be thirsty again thanks to Stanley, and you can try Stanley for yourself by visiting stanley1913.com. These are so cool.
They're so cool. I'm holding them in my hand right now. I've never seen this design, this version. I've seen the ones that we have. I'm so happy we have those, but these are
so cool, right?
You can flip the little straw. You can hold it. You can put it in a bag without spilling. You're going to bring it to your games or tailgates.
If I was going to go play tennis, I feel like that would make me feel like I was in the zone. Like,
right.
You know when you have an outfit that you kind of feel like I'm like
play
a professional?
How you feel. Yeah. I'm with you.
This tumbler will complete the look.
No, I'm bringing it everywhere with me. I'm taking it to the beach. I'm taking it to the pool. I'm taking it to the tailgate. All over the place.
Ready to go.
Great for a flight too. You can fill it up at the airport. This is the one I really needed with this. I'll put it right in my. I'll walk with it.
Imagining you charging through LaGuardia.
Holding it by the handle.
Because it kind of makes you feel like, you
feel like you're off to work.
Right.
This is great.
This is your briefcase now.
This is my new briefcase. Boom. So, listen, and we solved dating again.
We did it. I'm so proud of us, and we'll be back on Sunday with your Sunday special.
Boom.
Bye. The You Up Podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.